what's up you guys? Welcome back to another thrift and vintage haul. Today I am super excited to be styling some more spring inspired looks for you guys because now that fashion month has officially concluded, I have a ton of new styling ideas. I also think I got my hands on some really exciting pieces this week, so I hope you guys enjoy them. Before we start the haul, make sure if you're not already to follow me on Instagram. It's just HaleyWalker_. On there you can see even more outfits that I'm styling throughout the week and also give me new ideas for videos. Also follow me on Depop, which is where I'll be selling all the things in this video that I don't plan on keeping for myself, as well as other things that I thrift throughout the week. And lastly, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon if you haven't already so that you know every time I post a video. Sorry this one is a little bit late this week. I had to film and edit this entire thing today, but we'll get it done. I have faith this should be up by the evening. That's enough self-promotion for now though. Let's get into the outfits. The first three things that I'm going to show you guys are online purchases. I found this really cool website called Shop Series through my favorite fashion blogger and influencer, Alyssa in the City. Basically, it's a website that curates collections of secondhand clothes that were previously owned by fashion influencers. And of course, since I am such a huge fan of Alyssa, her closet is the one that I decided to shop. I love Alyssa's style because it's very quirky and out there, but she also incorporates a lot of classic vintage pieces. The first item that I got from her shop was this beautiful gingham balloon sleeve button down. This is probably 1980s vintage, but it didn't specify on the website. And like you guys know, I am just a huge fan of the 1980s, and I think that statement sleeves in particular are really trendy for 2020. To balance out the huge sleeves, I wanted to pick a pair of pants that would cinch me in at the waist, but then widen out towards the bottom. So I chose these dark wash denim paper bag pants that were originally from Urban Outfitters, but I purchased them in LA at Crossroads. I love these so much, but I haven't gotten as much of a chance to wear them in the winter because they're so cropped. The way that I'd prefer to style them is how I did in this look, with just a pair of pumps so that you get to see a little ankle action. These are my white Ferragamo pumps that you guys have seen a million times. They're from Goodwill here in New York City. The last thing I added to this look was my pair of white geometric earrings that really remind me of the 80s. I got them at Urban Outfitters a few years ago. The next item that I'm going to show you definitely works with that outfit formula as well. So this is the one piece that I picked up from Alyssa's closet that was not vintage. It's this silver wrap top by Lisa Says Ga. And if you don't already know, Lisa Says Ga is a really cool website that has really curated mid-range pieces from a bunch of small independent designers, most of them ethical or sustainable in some way, and they have a line of their own, which this top is from. Instead of those dark wash jeans, which I also think would go really well with this top, I decided to pair my wide leg paper bag Tibby pants. Tibby is one of my favorite designers as well because lately they've been doing some very contemporary takes on 1980s style, which of course is my favorite. I thrifted these at Beacon's Closet here in Greenpoint for about $40, which is a pretty good steal considering that they would probably be around $800 new. Once again, I have my Ferragamo pumps and the geometric earrings from Urban Outfitters. Moving on, the last piece that I picked up from Alyssa's closet is one of the most absurd things that I now have in my closet, and it is this beautiful, authentic 1970s vintage prairie dress. Do I look like I just walked out of Little Women or Little House on the Prairie? Definitely. But do I love Timothée Chalamet enough to not care? Definitely. In all seriousness, you guys know that I love playing with pieces that kind of walk that fine line between costume and clothing. I was so drawn to the beautiful light blue slate gray color of this dress. It has these very subtle, dainty little flowers, this lace detail, and this super flattering empire waist. Based on what we saw on the runway during Fashion Month, I definitely think the 70s are making a comeback. But regardless of the trend, I also thought this was just a great piece to have in my collection because it's so well kept and I could potentially sell it to someone who collects these really classic 1970s vintage dresses. I know Gunny Sacks dresses sell for a really high price on Depop and Etsy. This one looks like a Gunny Sacks dress. It's by the brand Candies. Anyway, since this dress was a little bit long on me, I decided to wear it with my white patent leather Mista boots. I think this would be beautiful if altered into a midi dress, but since it's really high quality 70s vintage, I don't really want to mess with it. That's all I got from Shop Series, but definitely go check it out in the link down below. Alyssa is obviously not the only one who has her closet on there. I think it's such a good idea to have this outlet for people to shop what they see on their favorite influencer without buying new clothes. Obviously, the idea of an influencer, which I think has become sort of a pejorative term, is a person who influences you to buy things or do things. But I think there is a way to be a fashion influencer and have a positive influence. Alyssa, for example, is really transparent about where all of her clothes come from. A lot of her clothes are borrowed from brands. And then of course, she's always shopping vintage and secondhand, which is the most ethical way that you can buy clothes. But anyway, tangent over. I love Alyssa. I love Shop Series. Go check them out down below. Next up, I purchased one thing from Therealreal, which is a luxury consignment store. They have a few locations in New York and LA, but I shopped online this time. This was the first time that I had ever purchased something from them, and I am very happy with it. It is these amazing patent leather studded knee-high boots from Miriam Nasser Zadeh. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I've had my eye on the Kiki boots for quite a long time. I actually saw Alyssa in the city wearing them a while ago. These boots were definitely an investment, but they are more beautiful than I could have imagined. I really wanted a pair of 90s inspired knee-high boots that I could wear with shorter dresses, because sometimes I feel like in the spring and summer, outfit styling can get a little bit boring when you don't have as much surface area to cover. Either way, I styled these with this really cool denim dress that I got at the Goodwill outlet. It's actually available on my Depop right now if you want to check it out. It's an authentic 90s vintage Levi's denim dress. Personally, I don't go for sort of a drop waist silhouette like this most of the time, which is why I'm selling it, and also why I decided to wear something over it to cinch me in at the waist. This is my vintage Diane von Furstenberg embellished leather vest. I would love to cut it into an even shorter cropped vest, but I'm worried that I'm gonna mess up the embellishing. So instead of doing that, I just put a belt on and tucked the vest up into the belt. Kind of like that trick that I showed you guys how to do with a bra before. Anyway, I know these boots were a splurge, but I am so happy with them, and I hope that I decide to keep them in my closet for quite a while. Lastly, the last three items that I picked up are from my favorite vintage store here in New York, Awoke Vintage. I live pretty close to two of their locations, so it's always tempting to just stop by and see what they have. They do have a $25 rack outside of the store, so most of the time when I'm buying stuff there, it's their cheaper, more affordable options that no one else wanted to pick up for whatever reason. The first dress that I'm gonna show you is probably my new favorite thing that I own, or rather this entire outfit is. The dress is this gorgeous, flattering shirt style dress that has these micro puff sleeves. It reminds me a lot of the early 80s because of the color palette and silhouette, but it's actually by Juicy Couture, which I'm assuming means that it's not super old vintage. I cinched it in with this very 60s, 70s belt that I also got at Awoke Vintage on that same trip. And then again, I have on my MNZ Kiki boots. I think for me, this is another great outfit formula. Basically a button-down mini dress with a pair of knee-high boots. And of course, since this dress has that little puff sleeve going on and then that A-line silhouette, it has that same effect of the puff sleeve top with wide leg pants that I was showing you guys earlier in this video. Basically, it just exaggerates your shoulders and your hips and then makes your waist look even smaller. Next up is a piece that, if you are familiar with my channel, you will see as no surprise. I picked up another really gorgeous 1980s silk jumpsuit. Once again, I was really drawn to the slight shoulder pad, the cinched waist, and the really beautiful airy fabric. This one appears to have belt loops, but it didn't come with a belt, so I put on one of my own. This one is the only one that I currently have that has silver hardware, so that's what I went with. But I think this would also look really nice with a white belt. And then to tie in the black of the belt, I put on my croc leather vintage Stuart Weitzman boots that I got at Housing Works here in New York City. I absolutely adore an 80s style jumpsuit because A, they cinch you in at the waist, and B, they're just a fail-safe outfit formula. Basically, it's like wearing a dress. You don't have to think about matching a top and a bottom. You just put it on and go. This is another piece that I'm so excited to wear once it gets a little bit warmer. Lastly, the very last piece that I have in this haul is a pair of pants that might look a little bit familiar to you. As I've showed you guys in a couple of my other videos, I used to have this pair of really colorful Awoke Vintage patchwork pants. I ended up selling them on my Depop because although they looked really good on camera, they were actually not as flattering in person. They really bunched up on me because they were a bit too small in the hips. But since I know that Awoke Vintage does a lot of these handmade patchwork pants, I was just hoping that I would find another pair, and I did. These are maybe maybe not as colorful and exciting as the other ones, but they do fit me a lot better in the hip, which means that I'm actually going to wear them. They've got these really beautiful denim khaki black and white patches, and for that reason I feel like they work essentially like a pair of jeans. They're basically a neutral, so they can kind of go with any top, even though they are a loud piece. Since I am such a fan of a matchy look though, I decided to pair this cropped denim jacket that's around the same wash as the denim patches on the pants. This is a vintage Lee cropped denim jacket, probably from the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Anyway, to finish the look, I put on my patent leather Mista boots and my geometric earrings. Patchwork is definitely going to be a huge trend for the rest of the year, so I would definitely check out Awoke Vintage either in person or on Instagram if you want to get a hand on a pair of patchwork pants like this, because they are putting out several pairs in different sizes on a pretty regular basis. Anyway, you guys, that is all the outfits for this week. I hope you enjoyed them. Please let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. And once again, don't forget to follow me on Depop and Instagram. And of course, subscribe here if you haven't already. I just want to thank you guys so much for always being positive and supportive, because it is hard to put yourself out there on the internet, but you guys are a really good group of people and I love being able to talk to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.